Hey there and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about something super interesting because we're all here non-native speakers and I am a non-native English speaker too. And sometimes when I watch videos in English or I listen to something in English, I ask myself this question. I wish there was one tool that could answer all of my questions about English. Because guys, here's the story. A couple of days ago, I was watching a movie in English and the native speakers there used the word corny. And then a few days later, I watched another movie and the people there used the word cheesy. Corny, cheesy, useful informal words. But what's the difference? And do you know what I used to help me answer this question? ChatGPT. Yep. And even on my second channel, the link is right here, I made a video about ChatGPT. I think right now, if you're not using AI to help you do your job better, you're not really living this life because everyone else is using AI, and especially ChatGPT or the new upgraded version. And that's exactly why I decided to make this video. I want to tell you guys how you can use ChatGPT completely for free to learn English. The first thing I want to talk about is vocabulary. I know guys, there are so many difficult words in English. So many words that seem to have the same meaning and you're just like corny and cheesy, right? Like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know the difference and I have no one to ask. ChatGPT can basically introduce you to new words, their meanings, and how to use those words in context. Something that is extremely important because, guys, you have to know how to use all of the words you learn in context. Just learning a new word, for example, cheesy, is not enough. How am I supposed to use it? That is where people see your fluency. When you have a good command of the language, when you know how to use the new words you learn. Also, ChatGPT can give you synonyms, antonyms, and even create games and quizzes for you. So, corny and cheesy, right? Let's try to ask ChatGPT about these two words. Like, what do they mean in English? How are they different? And how can I use them in context? Also, guys, while ChatGPT is loading, do you like my new microphone? I feel like it's so good and I feel like I can do ASMR right now. Let me know in the comments if this is something you're interested in. In English, corny and cheesy are both used to describe something that is overly sentimental, cliched, or lacking in originality. So as we can see, corny is basically something old-fashioned, right? Something that is kind of forced or awkward. For example, a joke. This is a very good example because usually people use the word corny when they talk about jokes. Like, that joke was really corny, or, you know, it's just so stupid. And here ChatGPT is giving us an amazing example. A joke that was popular in the 1950s may be considered corny by today's standards.
I never heard that one before. It's pretty corny.
Also, a lot of people consider knock-knock jokes corny. And a couple of days ago, I actually published a short video here on YouTube with one knock-knock joke in English. If you understand this joke in English, your English is pretty good. Knock knock. Who is there? Let us. Let us who? Let us in. It's cold out here. Maybe it was corny, you know, maybe, but I think knock-knock jokes are great. And as we can see here, cheesy is basically something that is trying to be romantic, but is usually tacky or low quality. For example, a movie might be cheesy, or a TV show, or a song, for example.
I tried, but it was so cheesy.
So here's the first way ChatGPT can help you. It can explain difficult words to you and help you learn new vocabulary in English. And of course, I know in this video I'm talking about how ChatGPT can become your one and only friend in English learning. However, there's one thing that ChatGPT cannot help you with. It is speaking English. You can't really speak with ChatGPT yet. And even if you could, it's still different from this like human-to-human interaction, from talking to a real person. And that's exactly why I'm inviting you to join my speaking club. The registrations are now open. If you join my speaking club, I will help you improve your speaking skills in English. Every single week, we will have 2 meetings and you will speak English with me and other students. And our students are amazing. They're so kind and they love English. Also, an amazing part about the speaking club club is the feedback I give if you choose the pro plan, because basically every single week you will be sending me homework and I will be giving you feedback. So if this is something you find interesting, if you would love to spend the next 4 weeks with me improving your English, make sure to click the link below and register right now, and I'll see you there. Now let's move on to grammar, because ChatGPT can really help you with English grammar. You can basically ask the AI about different grammar rules in English and it will explain everything to you. One more thing that I really like is how ChatGPT can even correct your mistakes. For example, if you send it like a little text or a little paragraph, it will check your sentences and it will show you all your mistakes, or if you didn't make any mistakes, it will say, good job, you didn't make any mistakes here. Recently on Instagram, I got a question from one of my students about the words have to and must, about the difference between these two words. By the way, if you're not following me on Instagram yet, you're missing out on a lot of useful content and some interesting things about my personal life. So the link to my Instagram page will be in the description as well. Obviously, all we need to do to understand the difference between have to and must is use ChatGPT. Let's try. Okay, so in English, have to and must are both used to express obligation or necessity, but there is a slight difference in their usage. So the first thing is obviously have to is more commonly used in everyday speech and kind of suggests this necessity. I have to, otherwise there will be consequences. For example, I have to finish this report by the end of the day. If I don't, maybe I will lose my job.
I have to remind myself that some birds aren't meant to be caged.
But must is definitely a more formal word that people use to express strong necessity or strong obligation. For example, I must follow the rules of the company. You don't have any other choice.
Is the law, and Christians must obey the law.
So yeah, I feel like the explanation is pretty simple to understand. There is nothing too complicated here. And what I especially love is that you can just copy and paste it and maybe save it in your notes, or even if you like to print stuff, you can print it out and then try to kind of memorize the rule. Or when you speak English, for example, try to think about ChatGPT. Here I want to use have to, or maybe I want to use must. Let's think about what ChatGPT told me to do. And of course, I wouldn't be a real bookworm, book lover, book nerd without talking about books. You guessed it right. So the third way ChatGPT can help you learn English is by reading books. Every time you guys ask me how I managed to improve my English, how I became advanced, I always tell you, reading, reading, and reading. I'm a huge book lover. I love reading books and I feel like they really help me improve my fluency in English. But ChatGPT can give you personalized suggestions based on your English level and your interests. Crazy. And plus, if you're feeling kind of lazy, if you don't want to read the whole book, ChatGPT can give you a short summary. Even better. And the final thing that I found extremely useful that ChatGPT can do is quiz you. For example, you've read a book and you feel like you're not sure if you remember everything about the story, so you can ask ChatGPT. You can say, please, can you quiz me on this book because I don't remember anything. I'm an intermediate student in English and I love sport. I want to start reading books in English. What books would you recommend? Give me a couple of books that won't be too hard for me to read. So as you can see, ChatGPT just gave us 5 amazing book ideas. Obviously, guys, it's absolutely possible that once you start reading the book, you feel like maybe it's boring or maybe it's too hard. So if it is the case, don't worry about it. Just move on to the next one. Believe me, you will find a book you will enjoy reading. And when it comes to quizzing you guys, I want to ask ChatGPT this question. Can you please quiz me on the first Harry Potter book? If you're a real Harry Potter fan, you will be able to answer all of these questions no problem. I feel like I'm probably gonna struggle a little bit because even the first question is so hard. What was the name of the school Harry attended before Hogwarts? I don't remember. Do you remember, guys? If you do, please let me know in the comments.
This was the year we said goodbye to Harry Potter.
Okay guys, so I think that's it. That's it for this video, and these are all the ways you can use ChatGPT to help you learn English. Again, when you learn new words, if you don't understand a grammar rule, for example, and if you want to read something in English. And what is even better is that it's available 24/7. So if at 4 a.m. you find yourself wondering, what's the difference between cheesy and corny, and you can't fall asleep, all you need to do is open ChatGPT and it will give you all the answers. Again guys, don't forget about the fact that ChatGPT cannot really help you with speaking practice. For that, I invite you to join my speaking club. The link to register is in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you in my next one.